But I need to ask about Dele Alli, because I'm so puzzled about his future here. I'm going to start with you, Brownie, because this is a player that won back-to-back PFA Young Player of the Year awards. I mean, he's scored some cracking goals. He's scored crucial goals as well. Didn't he score against Real Madrid? Hasn't he scored goals against the so-called Big Six sides in the past? I mean, you could argue that perhaps in the past he wasn't consistently brilliant every single game, but he had a knack for coming up with the goals. And he fell out of favour with Mourinho. We saw the documentary. Even though I think he scored 4 goals in 4 when Mourinho first took over, if memory serves me right. And he started the first few games for Nuno. He got hooked at half-time against Arsenal, hasn't played in the Premier League since, until today, of course. What does the future hold for Dele Alli? I mean, we've seen players shining bright at a young age, but are unable to sustain that brightness throughout the course of their career. Are we at that stage now with him?
It's very much a situation that he's got to look at. That's several managers now that have come into the football club and decided to leave him out. This is a Dele Alli you would say would be a definite starter. He's not to be in the squad at times, not starting every game after being given the opportunity. What he did in the summer, he realised that he needed to get in extra special shape. He'd done that, but then the work ethic or some sort of something mentally that he's not doing, whether he doesn't agree with the managers, the way they're trying to play them. But I came across him early on in his career. I was finishing my career at Port Vale, and he was at MK Dons. And I remember playing against him. I seen the fire this kid had. And literally, there was something special about him. He was nasty. He had a little streak. Then he'd go and stick one in the top corner. He'd run the game. He'd turn. He'd do everything possible. You'd kick him. He'd kick you back. And I watched him start to go. And all of a sudden, this confidence developed. He got better and better. His athleticism is there for all to see. Wonderful runner, wonderful ability to get in and around the pitch. But there's something in his makeup over the last couple of years that have changed. And only he can tell you that, whether it's off the pitch, on the pitch. He can't understand when you don't win, how he finds himself. There's no top clubs come to take him, have they? At one point, he was going to Real Madrid, and now there's different managers at Spurs not picking him. Is there a real dilemma in his career where he's going to go?
I think he's got comfortable, Adam. I think he's got comfortable in his career, and that's a big problem. He reminds me a little bit of myself. Obviously, he's more talented than me, but reminds me a little bit of myself where when you're young, you build up to get to this level. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get in the team. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight to be one of the best young players in the country. And he was that. He had everything to his game. Everyone was talking about him, his first name on the team sheet. And then all of a sudden, he got everything he'd ever wanted. The contract, the houses, the cars, everything that comes with being a world-class footballer or a top footballer, he all of a sudden got. And what I think happened was he got comfortable in his career, he got comfortable in his makeup, how he, the circle group, the friends he had around him, all of a sudden you're seeing him out partying, late nights, and all of that can catch up with you. The Premier League will always produce better players than you. If you don't keep going and keep trying to progress as a person on and off the pitch, and keep setting goals to better yourself, like, right now I want to get in the World Cup squad, now I want to become the captain. If you don't set new goals or new targets, you can get comfortable and then players catch up with you. And you've seen that happen with Dele Alli. He's got really sort of comfortable in his career, and younger players have come through.
Someone would have bought him, wouldn't they? Someone would have bought him, even if it was just they're thinking, well, this squad's not great, he's got frustrated, and he's not doing his best at this club. There'd be people out there, what they've seen, would have just come in and took him. Do you not think that? There've been good clubs would have come in and definitely done the deal. And managers, when you're so far out, would actually have encouraged the deal to go ahead. And why haven't we seen that?
Can I ask, is it bad management on the side of Tottenham for how they handled Dele Alli? Because 2018, let's go back to 2018, he had got a knack for scoring key goals, like I mentioned. He was coming off the back of scoring, was it in the quarterfinals of a World Cup for England? A really integral member of the squad back then. He can't get anywhere near it now. And then in October of that year, 2018, he signed a 6-year contract. And instead of being this up-and-coming star, he was 22 at the time, he was suddenly one of their highest earners. If reports are to be believed, he'd signed a contract worth around £150,000 a week, which for Tottenham is a lot of money. Is that what caused him to be comfortable?
Yeah, but of course it is. Of course it is. You know, when you get a big contract, all of a sudden you get nice things. But Adam, the club can't look after him 24/7. You know, he's got to be a professional himself, and that's the problem I think with Dele Alli. It's not so much when he's at the training ground. It's when he's been away from the training ground. Has he got comfortable? Has he lost his edge? Has he lost that fire in his belly? You know, and Brownie knows that. He's always had that fire in his belly. Me and Brownie weren't the most talented footballers in the world, but what we had was heart and passion, and we made up for that. And that's why we played in the Premier League.
He had that, you know. He had that. He had that, Jamie, and that's what I'm saying.
I think he's lost it.
I think he's lost some of that because I don't see him going through the hard yards. I see him as ability to keep running because he's a natural athlete, a fantastic athlete that we don't often see is special when he comes to that. But there was a turning point as well, as with family and things like that. He changed his agency when he was talking about this big money deal, and I felt like that was a real change in his career. He had a steady agent that he went with, and he wanted to change direction. He wanted to do something different, and I do feel that that was also a turning point in his career.